I'm going to tell you the best way to get what you want during your divorce. So you filed a divorce, or you're thinking about getting a divorce, and you're looking around at information on what to do, what are the best things to do, and how do you get to where you want to go in your divorce. This video is simply about how to get there, how to get to a resolution that's in your best interests, and if you got kids, in their best interests. And the simple answer is, it's through mediation. Mediation is the simplest and best way to get to a resolution, to be able to tell the judge, this is what is best for our family. This is what we want. This is what we know will be best for the children and best for yourself. And I know that you're getting a divorce, so you may not necessarily care what the other side wants, but still the best thing for you guys to resolve it and to be done with it. So mediation can get you there, can get you to that promised land of having it over with. Mediation is a way for you to be able to tell the judge what you want your law to be. You're making your own law. That's the beauty of mediation. That's the beauty of settlement, is you make your own law. You tell the judge, this is what we want. Here you go. Here's our signed agreement, and you're done. So part one of this video, part one, is what is mediation? Mediation is a confidential, privileged way for you to get to a settlement in your divorce or your family law proceeding. This isn't just for divorces. It's not even just for family law matters. There's a lot of civil matters that deal with mediation and use a mediator to get to a settlement. So the way that mediation is structured is that if it's in person, there's two separate rooms. Okay? Picture one room with you and your attorney, and the other room with the other side and their attorney. And the mediator is a certified mediator in Florida, and I'm a Florida divorce attorney, so this is about Florida law. And again, I'm not your attorney, so I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm telling you a little bit about the law in the state of Florida. So the mediator, who's certified and in Florida, Supreme Court certified, so they've gone through a training process. They've probably done a lot of mediations. And hopefully your attorney has done some mediations, and then they know, what's going on. We've probably done 500, 1,000 mediations, I don't know, over the years. So we've done a lot of them, and it's helpful to be able to know what to expect going into it. So you're in these separate rooms, right? One with your attorney and the other with their attorney, and the mediator just pops back and forth between the two different rooms. Somebody makes a settlement offer, somebody makes a counter offer, back and forth until you get to a written, signed agreement. That's the goal. The goal is an agreement. The mediator doesn't work for you, for the other side, for any of the attorneys. The mediator works for the agreement. The mediator is trying to get you to that promised land of an agreement so you can be able to tell the judge, here is the law. Here is the law of our family. Here's what we want. Here's what we want to happen for our children, for our property, for support, whatever is pending in your divorce. So that's what mediation is. It's an ability to try to come to a resolution in an amicable, confidential method using a trained mediator. So part two, what types of things do you discuss at mediation? So if it's a divorce, you're going to be discussing, if you got children, right? We're going to talk about the kids. So the way that the video, and we'll link to it up top, it's the courts use an acronym, PEACE. Parenting, equitable distribution of assets and liabilities, alimony, child support, everything else, right? PEACE. And we'll link to that video that we did before of how a judge decides a case. And it's similar at a mediation, that this is the kind of a progression of the different issues. Now, if you don't have children, then obviously the P part, you move right to E, and that's equitable distribution of assets and liabilities. You're looking at your house, your retirement, your whatever, investment accounts, boat, jet skis, whatever you got. You're looking at it, debt, trying to figure these things out and how to divide it. So the statutes speak to basically how it's divided, if it's equitably, equally, unequally. Statutes, not for purposes of this video, but distribution of assets, liabilities. That'll either be the first thing that you look at or the second thing if you got kids. Then you go into support. And we have other videos about what is support, what is alimony, how does the court come to it. In Florida, you're looking at need, one party's ability to pay. You're looking at the standard of living, some other factors. Also the duration of the marriage, kind of goes into what form of alimony is appropriate for the divorce. So this is alimony or support or maintenance, whatever your state calls it. In Florida, it's called alimony. Next, after alimony, is child support. In Florida, they use the child support guidelines worksheet. So there's specific calculations. Most divorce attorneys and family law attorneys in Florida have some type of calculator that you just plug in some numbers and then boom, you got your child support number. So that's the C. And then E, everything else, attorney's fees, whatever else is pending in your case, then you deal with it. So those different things, just like in court, if you're going to trial, you're going to be dealing with PEACE. You're going to be dealing with those issues. Parenting issues, equitable distribution of assets and liabilities, alimony, child support, and everything else. So those are the issues that the court's going to look at if you go to trial, and you're going to be able to mediate at mediation. Part 3. Okay, what is the benefit of going to mediation? So why not just go to trial? Why not just have the judge decide? And I don't know the specific numbers, but we're probably looking at about 80% of cases settle sometimes before the case is even filed. We file a lot of cases that are uncontested where they've agreed before they've even filed the case. So we file a settlement agreement, boom, off to the races and you're over with. So all the way up until we've settled cases after I've given my opening statement, go outside in the hallway, settle. So if you get it in before the ruling, then obviously you can agree on it before. So anywhere in between that time frame of even before filing the case all the way up until the court makes their final decision after a trial is ripe for settlement. So, I'm guessing, I think the numbers are somewhere in the range of about 80% of cases settle somewhere along the way. I don't know if that's nationwide or whatever, but those are numbers that we've heard is about 80% of cases settle either through mediation or some type of alternate dispute resolution. And sometimes that's just sending out settlement agreements to either side and seeing if everybody can be able to come to a resolution. So the vast majority of cases do not actually go in front of the judge for a final determination. Most of them are dealt with between the parties. Makes sense, right? You got married. They're there as a family law judge to resolve your differences if you cannot come to a resolution. So if you cannot, between the two of you, come to it and come to a settlement agreement, then the judge will step in and say, sure. I've never done one exactly like yours because you're two different people coming together for a completely different relationship, but I'll do it. I'll figure it out. I'll make a ruling. And you're probably both not going to like it, but that's the essence of trial. So yes, the courts will decide it, and there are a percentage of it that go all the way to trial, and that's obviously one way to resolve your case. The reality is, though, most cases at some point do settle, and a lot of times you're running along similar paths of settlement and moving towards litigation. So basically, there's a huge benefit there to try to see if you can agree to something. And if you can't, and if the other side is just being completely unreasonable about it and there's no possible way for a compromise, then yeah, the judge is there. That's what they're there for, is to resolve disputes that cannot be resolved. So part 4 of this video is, am I going to have to see the other side during mediation? Am I going to have to stare him in the face and look at him when we're going through this? And if you've seen the movie Wedding Crashers with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson, and they're in that movie, they're like divorce mediators, and everybody's sitting at one little table, and the attorneys are sitting there, and everybody's sitting at a table staring at each other, yelling at each other. That's not the way that it normally works. And have we done some mediations where everybody's sitting at the same table? Sure, that does happen, but most mediations happen in what's called, and I'm just going to use this term because that's just what it is, caucused, okay? So separate rooms. All right, let's throw out the big word. Let's get rid of caucused. Let's just say it happens in separate rooms. So if you're in person, like we said at the beginning of the video, a lot of mediations happen in person. So if you're in person, you're in separate rooms. You're not having to see them. Maybe if you go take a water break, go down the hallway and you see him at the water fountain, something, maybe coming in, driving up, whatever. We usually suggest for people not to drive there together because then you got to drive back with the person afterwards. You just went through this, sometimes 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour. We've had 12, 13, 14 hour mediations. Again, not a great idea to be driving home with them. And, I understand that, sometimes if you're on the same page and, it's just kind of just getting everything on paper, but drive separately, or Uber, do something like that. So, and if it's over Zoom, if the mediation is over Zoom, because we've had a lot of Zoom mediations lately, and the benefit for the Zoom mediations is, again, you can have breakout rooms. So similar to like if it's in person, you can have attorney and the party in one room and the other attorney and party in another room. And the mediator, again, just pops back and forth between the two Zoom breakout rooms. And it's great, it works great. And then they send up a agreement. If everybody agrees on everything, it's uploaded to, or emailed it out to everybody through DocuSign, and then it can be uploaded to the court after it's signed off on, and then you're done. So that leads me to the next step is what's after mediation. But before that, subscribe below, like, comment. If you got a question, let us know. So let me get to number 5 though, all right? So number 5, what happens next? So let's say you went to mediation and you got to an agreement. You're pumped. Well, are you really pumped? Okay, it was a compromise. Okay, that's the essence of mediation. That's an important, super important part of mediation. Is you're not going to come to a settlement if you walk out like, oh man, I blew it out of the park. Everybody walks out like not necessarily. If it's a divorce, you're probably, and their kids, you're probably walking away a little bit less time. If there's assets, maybe 50% less of your assets. If there's support. Again, nobody's really happy moving away from it. So there has to be that compromise point. And understanding that, you may go in with your A offer, A, B, and C offer, but sometimes people have to go to D, that what they weren't even willing or ready to do to begin with to come to that compromise, because both parties were looking at that A offer, but not everybody is going to get their best day in court type of an offer at mediation. So, it's looking at these different options and seeing where you fall. So let's say you do come to a compromise, you sign off on the agreement, whether it's through e-sign or you put pen to paper and it's signed and everything's done. Then again, it's filed with the court. And then you got a 5-minute easy little hearing in front of the judge for them to just take some what's called jurisdictional testimony. And we have some other videos about that 5-minute hearing is it. If you've settled all the issues, then you're done. Then you move on from this next phase. So that's some of the benefits of mediation. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.